universal fact. It's like held like that. Everybody thinks it is wrong or feels that way, but it's not a moral fact, right? What you're saying is that
So
it is a moral fact. I don't even know what that
yeah,
means.
it is something. It's independent of the mind. It's outside of us. There's a transcendent moralism, morality that is outside of us. It's more than just our emotions, our feelings.
Yeah, but you can grant all that. The problem is he's under some delusion that if there were these things, right, which I agree, I have no idea what's meant by that, that it would somehow become that kind of objectivity would only be possible under theism, right? Like I don't see how theism, if you're contrasting objective with subjective, right, and you're saying what's moral is what God desires, I don't understand how that isn't just some subjectivist view of morality. But like even if we granted for the sake of argument that there was some coherent idea or intelligible idea of objective morality, you need to give some kind of argument that's only possible under theism, right?
Well, I would say this:
that somehow atheism entails subjectivism.
The idea that human life has some kind of value above plant life or other animal life. I believe everyone, to one degree or another, would agree that human life has.
Yeah, what value?
And there we go.
We could grant that. We could grant that for the sake of argument, right? Like I don't personally understand what any of that means, but let's just grant it for the sake of argument. What is the argument that couldn't be the case under atheism?
Well, atheism, if you believe in naturalism, where does natural just nature give
well, first of all, atheism doesn't entail naturalism. But look, even if naturalism were true, you're just asking a question, right? And not having an answer to the question doesn't establish that it's not possible.
Well, I think if someone, not atheism necessarily, but naturalism, or that the world is just here, no purpose, no transcendent reason or anything behind it, where do you get rise to any kind of value or purpose or
That's
any
another
kind
question.
So why are you asking a question? I'm asking you to give an
important.
argument.
No, I'm asking, and I believe what I'm saying about the atheists being dishonest is that worldview can't account for it, and they try to be consistent by trying to.
Plenty of atheist philosophers believe in presumably believe in what you're calling objective morality, right? And so they're just going to say a lot of them are going to be non-naturalists. They're just going to say they're these irreducible, non-natural, objective moral facts, right? And they're not going to think there's a further explanation for those facts. Now, presumably you want to say that there's some way in which they're inconsistent or dishonest or I don't know what, right? Incoherent. But what's the argument for that?
No basis from a naturalist worldview.
So what's the argument that, again, I don't see why it has to be naturalist, but there are plenty of moral naturalists who think there are such things. They think that natural facts can have some kind of objective moral value. But again, you're just making a claim, right? And what we want is an argument for that claim.
Well, I just don't understand what his problem with consistency is. Would you want a doctor or surgeon operating on you that didn't?
Wait.
Let's let Jack do this.
Yeah, don't throw multiple things at him.
Well, I wasn't making the argument is you would there can't be a basis for any kind of transcendent morality.
That's the claim.
Yeah, we're asking for you to support that claim.
It should sound like atheists can't have objective morality or naturalists because of X and Y reasons or something.
Yeah, there is no basis.
That's the claim.
That's repeating it. That's repeating what we're asking.
Why is there no basis?
There is no transcendent. There is no spiritual transcendent realities. Then how do you give rise to any kind of objective meaning to life at all?
That's a question.
Why do you need a spiritual transcendent reality? Give us the argument that you don't need, but that you need that.
I'm saying you
need
that.
It could be transcendent and spiritual on atheism.
Well, you said
right?
naturalism too, didn't you?
Yeah. But the point is, like, either way, it seems like there's a problem, right? On the one hand, it's not clear why you couldn't have an objective morality without some kind of transcendence or spirituality. But I don't see how atheism is inconsistent with transcendence or spirituality anyway. So it just seems like both claims are just completely unsupported.
Nick, you're aware that there are people who think God is natural.
Can we just
but even apart from that, right? Like, I don't understand what makes it objective rather than subjective if the good is just identical to God's desires.
No, that's another.
I would take it that the naturalist has like the biggest claim to objective morality in my eyes. Honestly, it's like some naturalist theory.
Can we let Jack talk to Nick for just a couple of minutes?
I just don't think he's understanding what he's being asked.
Well, I'm saying that
to actually support a claim rather than repeat a claim.
Well, because that naturally follows from nature. If nature is a closed system, it follows that that's all there is. How does nature give rise to any kind of objective?
Yeah, you keep asking this question.
No, because it logically follows that it does not. Just matter and molecules do not give rise to objective morality. It doesn't.
Look, we've said this multiple times now, right? On the one hand, there are atheists who are not naturalists. So they think that there are non-natural facts, and they might include moral facts. If there could be such moral facts, they might include moral facts as among those facts. And there are some people who want to say something like, objective evaluative facts are actually identical to natural facts, right?
How would you define objective morality?
I have no idea what it is.
So how are you saying it can exist
I'm
in a
just
natural
granting
world?
for the sake of argument. I'm just granting for the sake of argument that that's a coherent, intelligible notion.
You can't say it is if you don't know what it is.
Well, I don't think.
Well, he wouldn't deny it.
I wouldn't. I don't think. Well, I probably would deny it, but I would just say.
Saying
Well, what I would say is, I think when people use that kind of talk, they're like confused.
You're saying you're saying there are some naturalists who believe in objective morality. What do you mean by objective morality?
I mean, what do you
There
mean
is
by
such a thing
objective
as-
morality?
Well, you said it. You said it. What do you mean by it?
No, I said it in response to what you said,
Well,
right? Which is
I'm
that
a
objective
Platonist.
morality
Tell
is
me
only
what I meant by it
possible
because you said
on
that-
theism. Look, are you just going to be a troll?
No, you said.
I'm starting to lose my patience with you, right?
You said.
You made a claim, right? Shut your mouth.
You said
made
no.
a claim, right? Shut your mouth.
Using words
Shut
you
your
can't
mouth.
define.
I told you I'm getting fucking impatient with you. Now
Because
listen.
you're using words
You
can't define.
shut your fucking mouth.
No,
How many
define
times
what
do I
you're
have to
talking
tell
about.
you? Shut
Mods,
your mouth.
please.
Now, you said that objective morality is only possible under theism, right? That's your fucking claim, right? That's your fucking claim, right, dumbass?
And you said some naturalists believe.
Is that your claim? Is that your claim? Is that your claim?
Well, I can't talk. They keep
Yes or no?
muting me, but
That's a yes
you
or
need
no
to talk
fucking
about it.
question. Is that your claim? Yes or fucking no?
Yes.
Okay. I want an argument for that fucking claim, asshole.
And you said some of them have objective.
I want a
morality.
fucking argument. I want an argument.
I'm saying you cannot account for what objective
Yeah, that's
morality
repeating the
is.
fucking claim. I didn't ask you to repeat the fucking claim for the 10th time. I want a fucking argument for the claim.
Means objective naturalism entails there is no objective transcendent truth. I said that. That's what it entails.
Yeah,
There is
yeah, that's a claim. That's a claim.
Yeah, that's what naturalism is.
Okay, so
That's not saying
again, we'll go
naturalism.
over it. I'll go over it again with you, right? Atheism doesn't
Okay.
entail naturalism. Shut your mouth. Atheism
shut up,
doesn't
man.
entail. Shut your fucking mouth while I'm talking. I'm getting sick of your bullshit. Okay, I told you fucking 5 fucking times. Atheism doesn't entail naturalism. If you want to make that claim, you need to give a fucking argument for it, right? So there are plenty of atheists who are non-naturalists, right? So that wouldn't establish that you couldn't have objective morality on atheism, right? If you just presuppose that all atheists were naturalists, right? Now, in order, shut your fucking mouth. Now, second, in order,
I'm not going to sit here and talk to
shut your
somebody like this.
fucking mouth. Shut your mouth.
You don't know what
You
you're
can go
talking
fuck
about.
off. You can go fuck off if you want to. Okay. Now, again, you haven't shown how, in order for there to be objective morality, it has to be transcendent, right? Because some people are going to want to say that these objective moral facts are identical to natural facts, right?
Okay, and I would
They
ask
would
you
be,
what-
and they would be moral naturalists, right? So again, you need to make an argument, right? A, that if there were objective moral facts, they couldn't be identical to natural facts, right? Which is to say that if there are going to be objective moral facts, they have to be transcendent, right? They have to transcend the natural realm. And second, you need to make an argument that you need to make a successful argument. You need to make if you can make a successful argument that objective moral facts have to transcend the natural, right? You need to show that that's inconsistent with atheism, because atheism doesn't entail naturalism. Unless you can give an argument that atheism entails naturalism, right? So that's all I'm interested in hearing.
Atheism entails naturalism. Well, I'd have to talk to someone who believes there is something transcendent beyond nature. Like I would have.
I'm
like,
asking
give a
you to
hypothetical
support your fucking claim.
That's like saying atheism. If I say atheism, naturally conclude there is no God. Like that,
Yeah.
that's what follows. There are things that follow from certain
There are
worldviews.
atheists who believe in the non-natural stuff, like supernatural. You
And
probably
I
have met them.
And I would ask they would have to give an account for why they believe that.
We're not interested, right? Are you making the claim or not? Right? We're not interested in the fucking question. How do you say this, right? That's just an appeal to incredulity or ignorance or something like that, right? Are you making the claim or not?
I'm saying if you take I've used different word naturalism. I went to naturalism because you said atheism doesn't necessarily entail naturalism. In a naturalistic worldview, there is no supernatural. There is no transcendent reality.
That's right. That's right. And what did I tell you in response to that?
You said there are some people who believe natural facts are consistent with objective morality or something like that, natural moral facts or something like that.
Yeah, I said that, and I said therefore, right? You need an argument to show
Well, they need
that if they're going to be objective, moral facts, they can't be natural facts. They have to be what you're calling transcendent facts, right? But then you have to show, if you can show that they have to be transcendent facts and can't be natural facts.
Where do natural facts come from? Like, where would that come from?
Why do you keep asking me questions? You're
Because
making the
there's
claim, right?
It's an argument against someone who's not going to answer.
Is it your claim? Is it your claim that there can't be objective moral facts on naturalism? Is that your claim?
Yes, I would say that.
Okay, is that claim justified by an argument?
Yes, because naturalism,
Okay.
whether you agree with it or not, you don't get objective things from
Yeah,
naturalism.
that's repeating the claim, right? Now, did I say to you 10 fucking times, I don't want you to repeat a claim, but to support the claim? Did I say that 10 times to you? Have you heard me say that 10
Well,
fucking times?
you're the one making the claims, Jack.
What claims?
You said atheism doesn't entail naturalism. That's a claim.
Yeah, so he's the one who keeps saying when I ask him to support the claim that there can't be objective morality on atheism. He's the one who keeps saying there can't be transcendent moral truths on naturalism, right? And somehow that establishes the claim, right?
Well, look, it's like saying in a naturalistic worldview there can be no supernatural. That's a claim,
Yeah.
but it's in that worldview.
Yeah, we wouldn't dispute that.
Yeah, and I
Yeah, that's not in dispute.
Nick, do you just equate? Nick, do you just
without-
equate? Do you just equate the two? Do you just equate atheism to naturalism? Is that all you do?
No, I think there are atheists who can
They're
believe in some
distinct.
kind of spiritual.
Yeah, they're
Okay,
distinct.
great. So atheism doesn't entail naturalism on your own view, right? So I don't need to support the claim that they're not identical, despite John trying to white knight for you, right?
Well, that's
So-
why I went to naturalism.
Still a claim, not that you have to support
Yeah.
it.
So.
You're clown, John.
Can I try to help move this along, Jack? Because I don't want to get
Go
stuck.
ahead.
Nick, do you think that the only reason why you think this is because someone hasn't given you a reason to think that it's like supportable? Like you haven't met an atheist support moral objectivism or something.
One, I specifically went to naturalism because I believe
Sorry, a
atheism,
naturalist.
if they do.
I'll rephrase it.
Yeah, natural. I don't believe there is anything in that worldview that can account or give rise to any kind of objective reality.
Why do you think that?
Because it's what naturalism does. There's only nature.
Okay.
How does nature?
Oh my
What
God.
is
Now
it
you just
about?
keep asking a question.
Yeah.
See,
I thought, like, for sure-
asking a question, right, is at best going to be an appeal to incredulity or ignorance. It's not an argument. Do you understand the distinction there?
Yeah, I'm really not sure how to make the argument.
Well, the argument.
Yeah, which means it's not supported by an inference.
Well, he
That
starts it
means-
off.
that
He's got
means-
something.
That means that your belief that that's the case is not supported by an argument, right? Because you don't have such an argument.
Well, I believe certain worldviews naturally, or they naturally entail certain. There is.
Yeah, and that means if they entail it, right, that means that there should be an inference that you can give, right, that establishes that conclusion. That's what an entailment is.
Are you saying it's something about like the definition of naturalism?
Well, I mean, by what it is, it can, and I think it's self-evident that it can't give rise to objective, transcendent, spiritual. That would be spiritual. That's objective.
Once again, that's
Realities.
the same claim.
Yeah, now there are people who disagree with that. So what argument would you give to show that they're mistaken?
I think the worldview itself. I think it just doesn't. I think it's self-evident.
That's
that
just
it can't-
repeating the claim.
I
Now
know,
you heard me
but-
say to you like 10 fucking times, right? That I wasn't interested in you repeating the claim.
Do you understand what
Can
he means
you
when he says
support can you support the claim rather than repeat it?
Let me think about. Let me think about a way to support that because I think it's self-evident that it doesn't, but obviously other people don't. So
Yeah. So there's some kind of problem there.
I don't believe it's a problem because whether I can support it or not, that's my worldview is revelational epistemology. I believe what I believe based on what God has said. So
I didn't say
believe it's
that.
not true. No, I mean ultimately, I don't believe it's not true because I have all these art. I believe it's not true because I believe in that God has revealed Himself in His Word. I believe in that worldview,
That's
and
different
not because
though.
I have an argument against.
Something could be not
Yeah, no.
true and not be like entailed by something. There could be things that are entailed in false things. Like it's entailed in the idea of a unicorn. If the unicorn has a horn, that's also like, well, I mean, horns are obviously real, but the unicorn having a horn is also false because the unicorn is false. Do you see like why or naturalism might have entailments, but it might also be false.
I see what people. I understand what people were asking me to do.
Well, you understand what an
So look,
argument is?
the point is right. You're committed to saying there's some contradiction there, and that means you should be able to cite, right, the two propositions that a naturalist, moral realist, or moral objectivist is committed to that are inconsistent, right, and show just from the definitions of naturalism and moral objectivism that those two inconsistent propositions are logically derivable.
Here's the thing: wouldn't the person who holds to naturalism and would say that there is objective morality, would they not also have to give an argument for why that's the case? And I don't believe
Yes,
could
they
give
would.
an
Of
They
course
would if they forward it as a claim, right? But the point is, you're making the claim that there's an inconsistency entailed, right? And I'm just asking if you can support that. You said it was justifiable by an argument, but you clearly have to retract that claim.
No, I think the worldview itself. There's certain things that have to be the case. If that is the worldview, naturalism, that's nature. That is molecules matter. That's all there is. Molecules and matters are not thinking things. They don't think. They don't. Everything we are in that worldview is just chemical reactions.
Yeah,
I mean,
again,
that's all-
naturalists are going to deny that there can be no identity between, say, mental facts or moral facts and natural facts, right? I happen to agree with you. I don't think that there can be such things on naturalism, right? But you need an argument to support that.
One, I would say, like I said, there is just matter and molecules. That's all there is.
Wait a minute, Jack. If
And
he agrees with you, he doesn't need an argument. Remember?
What do you mean if he agrees with me, he doesn't need an argument?
No, if you agree with
I'm
him,
asking
he doesn't
if
need
he
an
has
argument.
I'm asking him for his argument.
Yeah,
That's a
but
great
you
point.
said you don't need an argument because he agreed with that. That's what you said earlier. Now
Trying to
the roles are
make sense of
reversed. You agree with him.
I mean, that point is not.
Do you remember? You said he agrees with me. I don't need an argument. quote unquote.
Actually, his claim was you can't have moral objectivism under atheism. That's what Jack.
No, he said he agrees with me. I don't need an argument
He agreed
about,
about
atheism doesn't entail naturalism.
He agreed about.
I asked him
agreed
to
about
establish whether
naturalism.
atheism entails
But this
naturalism.
time around, you agree with him. He doesn't need it.
John, the only thing.
I don't think you're understanding what the burden of proof is, John. But that's what
Well,
you
here's
keep
the
trying
thing.
to white
Casper.
knight, John. So
this is something.
So the point
if
is,
you want an argument for that, I would have to read more into it. Yeah, to come up with the kind of argument you're asking for.
yeah.
Even though I
So
think
here's what we don't understand, right? We don't understand why somebody would think if there could be objective morality, whatever that is, right? You could somehow only get that if God exists.
Well, I think you could get an objective
Because
morality.
you're committed to saying, right? You're committed to saying that it would be a contradiction for there to be
I don't
objective
think-
morality if God did not exist, right?
Yeah,
That's
I
your
don't
claim,
think-
right?
Yeah, I don't think anyone could have a basis for that.
Yeah. What's the argument?
The argument is that there is an objective law, objective morality. There is an objective lawgiver. Matter does not give rise to morality. I don't think.
Well,
Now,
I
you
don't
can-
understand. I don't understand the objective lawgiver part, right? Because we're talking about moral laws, right? So we're not talking about like laws of state, right, where they're given. So people who are talking about moral laws are just going to reject the idea that it requires. Well, at least some of them are going to reject the idea that it requires a lawgiver. So they're going to ask you, well, why, if there were laws of not of the legal kind but of the moral kind, right, that would require a lawgiver?
I believe it would have to. The thing is, it would have to come from transcendent, and I guess in.
Yeah, that's first of all, that's a claim that hasn't been established, right? But even if I granted you that, I don't see how that's in any way inconsistent with atheism. At best, that would be inconsistent with naturalism.
Well, I would have to hear like an atheist if they believe in some kind of spiritual transcendent reality.
You don't have to hear what they have to say, right? Because you're claiming this is supported by an argument. So I'm just asking you for what that argument is.
Remember I asked you that before, Nick, if you thought that it was because someone else hasn't like given you reasons to believe it? It's going to be different than the claim that you're making.
That's right.
I guess I'd have to. I don't know. As far as
But look here. I don't even really understand why, if God exists, that would be in any way objective. The morality of God.
objective in the sense
I don't
that.
understand why that wouldn't be subjective morality, right?
Well, because it's something that is outside of us. It is a.
Yeah, but it's subjective to God, right?
Well, no, it's not subjective to him. It's in line with his character. It's who he is.
No, you're not understanding, right? If I said, well, I do everything that my Aunt Sally commands, right? You would say that's subjective morality, right?
I would say that's objective.
Subjective?
Everything that she commands. Well, if she commands it and you're doing it, it would be objective to you in the sense that it is a command coming from outside of you.
Wait, so is that the sense that you mean? Because clearly you could have that on atheism, right? You could have objective morality. So that's not the sense that you mean, right? You mean some other sense of objective.
Well, no, I mean objective in the sense that it is independent of my thoughts, emotions, felt like it's outside of me.
Oh, so that's all objective morality is?
Yeah, objective. That would be what objective.
Oh, so then on your own view, you could have that on atheism, right?
Something outside of themselves.
Yeah. It's outside of
Like the
myself,
government.
what my Aunt Sally commands, right? Then you have objective morality on atheism.
Not in the absolute sense. Not in what I'm. Not
Yeah, just like I said, not in the fucking absolute sense. Didn't I fucking ask you, was it in a different sense? Right? So why would you give me that fucking bullshit? Right?
But
Okay,
in
so
the-
that's not what you mean by objective. Great. So now what I want you to explain to me, right, if that's not objective, right, how is God any different?
If that's not objective, how is God any different?
Yeah, how is God any different from fucking Aunt Sally? Right? He's got a bunch of desires. Right? You want to call those good. How is that objective and not how is that objective in the absolute sense? Right? When if I say, well, Aunt Sally has these desires and those are good, right? You think there's some difference, right? What's the relevant difference that makes one objective and one subjective, or one absolute, right, and one not absolute, or one absolutely objective? I guess that's what you're saying, right? Because you think there are two senses of objective, absolute and presumably relative, right? So you want to say, yeah, it's true. Aunt Sally morality is objective morality, but it's not absolute objective morality, right? So what you really care about is not that there's objective morality, but that there's absolute objective morality, and that you can only have with God. So what is it about God that makes it absolute rather than relative?
Well, I believe God is because he is the standard and is based on his character. Like these are not
Aunt
just
Sally
commands.
is the standard. It's based on her character.
Yeah, but then it would be subjective to her.
Oh, and
Just
it's not
like it is for
subjective to
God.
God?
I would say not with God. It's based on his character. It's
Oh, it's based on Aunt Sally's character.
based on her character. It
Yeah,
would
it's
still
based on her
be.
character.
I mean, do you think it's subjective now?
I think with it's. I would have to think about how to answer that because in things I haven't thought about. But
Yeah. See, because the
No, I
point is,
agree.
none of this is actually reasoned, right? This is just stuff that you think has been told to you in Scripture, right?
I
But
know
you
what
haven't
I mean.
haven't thought it through, right?
No,
You
I
haven't-
thought about. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you
Here's
thought
the thing,
about it, what
here's-
did you come up with? If you thought about it, what did you come up with, right?
Here is the
to make
case.
it the case that God's reality, that God's morality is not merely objective but absolute, whereas Aunt Sally morality is not.
Because God is the creator. God is the
How is that not a
authority.
naturalistic fallacy? Do you know what a naturalistic fallacy is?
Naturalistic fallacy. No,
It's deriving an ought from an is.
an ought from an is. So because God is certain
Yeah.
things,
God is the creator, therefore he ought do X.
Or he ought be the standard.
Ought
He
be
ought
the
be the
standard.
moral standard.
yeah, if
Yeah.
he is God, then it naturally follows that he is the standard.
My aunt
No,
is my
you're not
family member,
understanding.
therefore she ought be the standard.
No,
Yeah.
I think God is a different level than a horizontal family member.
Okay, then my grandma. She's a higher level than that.
His level of
But I don't think you're understanding the point. There isn't actually a logical derivation from the fact that an agent is a creator, that he ought to be the standard of the good. There's just not an inference there.
make an argument for that.
Well, all right, I'll retract the claim, right? Just show me how you can give a valid inference of that kind.
Because if he is the creator and author of all things and life, and he is the giver of life, then he has the authority to say what we should and shouldn't do. Like that is his prerogative.
No, but I'm asking why that follows.
Why it follows that the person who created and gave life and is God.
I assume you don't mean that he merely has the power to enforce what he demands, right? That's not what you mean.
No, not just the power. I believe the authority in the sense that
Yeah.
he has
So
the
I'm
rights.
trying to understand what do you mean by authority, right? In a sense that's detached from enforcement. How does that follow from being a creator? Why is it inconsistent if one is a creator for him to lack that authority? For instance, to be morally bad.
Why is it inconsistent? I think it is the case, and I can't. If he created and he gave life, and he's the one who gives life, and he is God, then yeah, he has the authority. That follows by who God is by definition. I think.
I don't understand how you're getting that logically, right? It doesn't seem to me there's any contradiction.
Let's
in
break
saying,
this down. Don't let your atheism override your common sense. You're saying God doesn't. It doesn't follow that God, the creator of all things, the supreme being of everything, doesn't have the right to tell his creatures what to do.
You mean when you say the right, you mean that there's nothing morally wrong with him doing that?
I mean, he has the authority to command certain things if he.
But that you mean something more than he has the power to do so.
Yeah, more than the power, but he has the authority.
Yeah, you mean that he ought to be obeyed, right?
He what?
He ought to be obeyed.
Yeah, he ought to be obeyed.
Yeah, but I don't see why that follows.
You don't see why it follows that. I think this is another one of those things that's so self-evident. That
Yeah, I don't care about that. I don't care about
I
that at
know
all. I
you
just want an
don't.
argument.
The argument is he's God. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Checkmate,
He's God.
atheist.
I mean,
That's not
it.
an argument, right?
That is the argument. I don't need an argument.
You're
If
just saying
he's
it's
God-
Clearly haven't thought
definitional?
about this. You need to think
No,
about it some more.
No, you haven't thought about who God is. If you think he needs an argument as to why he should be able to tell people what to do. Like,
It sounds like what you're doing is retracting your claim that it follows from the fact that he's a creator, right?
No, I believe it does follow from that because
Great.
he's
So
the
then
one.
I want you to produce that inference.
I think it follows from that. It's self-evident.
Yeah, I don't care about the self-evident stuff, right? Just stop saying that, right? It's not self-evident to me, so I want an argument for it.
There are some things that had to be. Laws
So
of
you
logic.
can't establish.
That's not an argument.
You can't show that there's some contradiction, right? You can't show that there's some contradiction, right? In somebody being a creator and lacking moral authority.
But Jack, does it follow
In
from that
virtue
he's
of
the
Shut up,
standard?
John. Shut up, John.
Yeah, don't let John
Yeah.
do
So
this.
the point is, right? You want to say, right, that it's a contradiction for him to be the creator, right, but to lack moral authority in virtue of that fact. And I'm just not seeing what it is.
So if he's the giver of life, the creator of life, and all that, he doesn't have the authority from giving you that life to command what he will.
If by that you mean something different from his capacity to enforce something, right, I don't see how it confers any moral authority on him. Why is there any inconsistent? Here's one way to think about it. Why is it inconsistent for a creator to be an evil being or a morally neutral being?
And why is it inconsistent?
You're saying it's essentially the case that if you're a creator, right, that you are the standard of the good.
I'm saying, yeah, he is the standard because outside of that, how would you define good or evil? Like,
Now
what
you're
would you
asking a
define it?
question.
Yeah, that's what you do. You can't give any kind of account for that outside of some
That's
ultimate
another
authority.
claim. That's another claim.
Yeah, I'm making a claim. God is the ultimate
Yeah,
authority.
and every time you make a claim, what am I going to do?
Well, I think some claims you get to a certain point that things are your ultimate authority has to be self-authenticating, like it has to be.
Yeah, look,
With any
we don't
ultimate
give a
authority.
fuck about that bullshit. Right?
Well,
We
even-
want to
even
know.
what you're-
We want to know if you can support your claims by an argument. Right? We're not interested in you saying, "Oh, well, as far as I'm concerned, that's self-authenticating."
One, I think it goes back to how do you know what you know, like revelational epistemology.
Yeah, I don't care about any of that. Do you have an argument or not?
It's my worldview.
Yeah, I don't care about that. I'm asking you if you can support your
don't
fucking
care.
claim. I'm asking you if you can support your fucking claim.
Support it how by
an argument. By an argument. Is that not clear yet? Is that
How
not
can
clear?
you
That's all I'm
validate?
interested in is a fucking argument.
Arguments on the basis of things that I don't think you can justify, like the laws of life. Like you can't justify them.
Don't care about any of that. I'm just asking you if you have an argument in support of the claim.
Not in the way that I think you're looking for, probably.
Yeah, that's what I fucking thought, right? So fuck off with that, right? We don't give a fuck, right? If you're gonna go around saying stuff like you can't have objectivity, you can't have objective morality on atheism, right? When you can't fucking support the claim.
I think there are people that could probably answer that better. But
Yeah,
again,
well, you know what? I know more about this than you do, and they can't fucking do that, right?
Well,
You're
here's
just
my
fucking
worldview.
ignorant if you think that, right?
No,
You're just fucking ignorant if you think that. They can't fucking do it.
You can't justify a lot of what you said. I just
Doesn't
haven't been
matter. Doesn't fucking matter, right? You're the one who went around saying dumb stuff like you can't have objective morality on atheism, you can only have it on theism, and you can't even fucking support the claim.
Yeah, I've supported it. You just don't. Like what
No,
I
you
said.
haven't fucking supported it, you fucking idiot. I asked you for
Yeah,
the
I've said
argument,
things
and then
that
you said the argument is fucking God. You said God.
Yeah, he's the standard.
Yeah,
You don't like that,
right.
but that's true.
Yeah, right. Why isn't Aunt Sally the fucking standard, you fucking idiot?
Because she's not God.
Yeah, right. So it's just question begging. Do you know what that means?
No, it's not question begging. It's God is the
Do
standard.
you know
That's
what
my
question begging
position.
means?
Yeah, it's assuming.
Yeah, right. And we don't assume that, right? We don't assume that moral authority requires a God, right? So you're not giving any argument. You're just assuming what you already believe, right, against the view that you're seeking to oppose. It's of no interest to us. I can beg the question against you. I can beg the question against you if I want, right? Why is that interesting?
Here's the thing. My worldview. You're attacking something that isn't. My worldview is God has spoken through His Word, true, and that's why I don't believe what I believe because I can somehow make an argument for every single belief. I believe what I believe because God has spoken. He has revealed Himself. This is the case, whether you like it or not, or whether I can support every bit of it or not.
Yeah, well, we were only interested in what you can support, right? There's plenty of nut jobs. There's plenty of nut jobs who believe all kinds of dumb stuff, right? And as far as I'm concerned, you're in that category. You're just some idiot, right, who takes the Bible on authority for no good reason, believes a lot of stuff said in there, right? And you can't support any of it, right? The question is, for those of us who don't believe the Bible is true, why ought we believe it's true, right? What argument is there? What argument is there to support the claim that the Bible is true? You don't have one.
And God has revealed. Atheists know there's a God, whether they deny it or not.
I don't care about any of that. We don't accept that.
You don't care. That's true. Whether you like it or not.
Yeah. We don't care about what you say is true, right? We only care about what you can support. Have I not made that clear?
God has already supported that. God has already made that argument through creation and in your own conscience.
Great. So there's an argument. There's an inference there. You can give us that inference if you want.
Revelational epistemology. God has
spoken.
spoken.
Just give us the inference.
God says in His Word. God says in His Word that through creation He has revealed Himself to all men.
Now, why would I accept that? Why would I accept that? What's the argument?
It's true, whether or not you accept it.
Look.
Everything I've said is
true.
Are
you just some kind of fucking troll? Are you just some kind of fucking troll? I'm not asking you to repeat that some claim is true, right? If I ask you why is that true, why ought I believe that? You saying it's true isn't providing me with a reason, right? Because that's the claim. Shut up. That's the claim in question. Shut your fucking mouth. That's the claim in question, right? Whether or not it is true, right? So you repeating the claim that it's fucking true, right, doesn't do anything to advance the idea that it's true.
Do you think you can prove spiritual realities through just natural reasoning and arguments? Do you believe I could give an argument for God?
Yeah.
Look, if you can't give an argument, great. Then I've done my work, right?
No, you haven't done
your work. You can't support anything that you fucking believe, right?
I've supported it. You don't like what I've said.
No, you haven't fucking supported it. You just begged the question. We've been over that already, you fucking asshole.
I told you the case.
I'm not interested in you begging the fucking question against my view. I'm interested in you showing there's a contradiction in my view, right? Or there are reasons giving premises that I share with you that I ought to accept your view, right? By an inference, which is to say an argument. And you don't have an argument like that. All you can do is beg the question against my view. I don't give a fuck about you begging the question, right? I'm not interested in hearing you beg the question against my view. I'm asking you if you can support the view in a non-question begging way. You can't fucking do it, right? So I just don't understand. Why are you playing this stupid apologetics game? You're not in the game, right? Because you can't support anything that you believe against non-believers.
Well, God has said certain things that I can't necessarily prove. Yeah, I believe that.
That's right. You believe that. Why should we believe that?
Well, you do believe that.
I'm not interested in that bullshit. I told you that, right? You think I didn't hear you the first? You think I didn't hear you the first 10 times when you said God? When you said you do believe that? You think I didn't hear you?
Like if you didn't care about it, you wouldn't be in it. You care about it.
Again, I'm not here to debate whether I believe, right, what I claim to believe. You don't have any way of establishing that. All you can do is repeat the claim, right? Can you give me an argument? Can you give me a non-question begging argument that I don't believe what I claim to believe?
I mean, I've said all that I can say. You're going to.
Yeah, you said all that you can say, which is that at best you can provide question begging arguments, which we don't give a fuck about.
No, I don't
So
think
why
I've
do you
done
keep talking?
all
Why
that.
do you keep fucking talking?
Keep saying.
I told you 20 fucking times. I'm not interested, right, in you repeating claims. I'm not interested in you begging the question against my view, right?
Well, this is the Christian worldview. I mean, if you
Yeah,
want
we
worldview,
understand that's your view,
you
right?
can-
What we're interested in is whether you can give a non-question begging argument for that view, and you can't.
Well, I've
Can
given
you?
arguments, but
Sorry. Can you give a non-question begging argument for that view?
that God has that all that I said. I believe the
For
Bible
the
is
Christian
self-authenticating.
worldview, can you give a non-question begging argument for the Christian worldview to those who reject it?
The Bible is self-authenticating. Like I believe that.
That's not an argument. That's just a
Yeah, that's an
claim.
argument. That is my
That's a
authority.
fucking claim, you idiot. What is
I don't
fucking
like
wrong
it.
with you?
That's my
Do you not understand the distinction between a claim and an argument?
Well, that's my position. Whether you
Yeah, we
consider
understand that that's your position. You've said it 50 fucking times, you idiot.
getting loud and cussing makes you any
Yeah,
more appealing.
yeah, I'm getting loud because you're a fucking asshole, right?
He's
I
very
told you
appealing.
20 times. I've told you 20 times. I don't care about you repeating claims. I told you 20 times I'm not interested in question-begging arguments, right?
This is my position.
Yeah,
Like,
I understand that it's your position. And what did I ask you? I asked you if you could support the position with a non-question begging argument.
Well, and I would
Now,
say
why
that's
is
my.
it that you don't have the honesty to say no?
Everyone, when they appeal to ultimate authorities, they have to be self-authenticating. Yours too. Anyone's.
That's
There is
not
a
an answer
place.
to my question. What was my question?
Place,
What
there
was
is
my
a place
question,
where-
asshole?
There is a place
What
where
was
someone
my
gets-
question?
There
Why
is
are
a
you
place where
trolling?
you can
Why are
ask
you
someone-
trolling? Why are
when
you
you keep-
trolling?
let me
Why are you
finish one
trolling? No, you're not
If you
answering
just
my
keep
fucking
shouting,
question.
you can
Yeah,
me
you can
off.
go fuck off if you don't like it. I asked
Because
you
they're
a
ultimate
question,
authorities.
right? I asked
They're
you. Look, I didn't
ultimate-
ask you that.
They're ultimate
That's not
authorities.
an answer to my question.
Listen.
That
Can you
is
listen?
not an answer to my question.
Can you listen? Every worldview has
Why,
an
all
ultimate.
right, this guy, I'm getting sick of him over talking me and not answering my question.
If I'm so wrong, you should be happy right now that I.
Yeah.
that I
So
signed-
is there somebody who's going to make him answer the question?
Yeah, Nick, Jack, what was your question?
My question is, if you don't have a non-question begging argument to support your position, why do you not have the honesty to admit that?
Nick, you already kind of did a minute. Look, I thought about it too much. This is like new stuff for you. Just say, I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it. I'll come back to you, whatever. Okay, just be honest. Go ahead.
Well, no, he hasn't accepted anything
No,
I've
but
said.
you
That's
already
the difference.
said you didn't have an argument. You already said it. Like I heard you. You conceded. You don't actually. You just have assertions and you don't have arguments to your claims.
No, what he's asking me to do is somehow prove in an argument that a spiritual transcendent being exists. Yeah,
No,
you can't do that.
He didn't ask. No.
We're not
He didn't
just
ask
make
you
it
for that.
plausible.
You made two claims.